Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm back and I'm here with another story time. I want to talk to you guys about religion. Not about religion, but maybe about the religion that I was raised in. As a little girl, my mom came from a Catholic background, and my dad, I don't think he was anything. I mean, he didn't have any religion. And when they got married, my mom already had started studying with the Jahovah's Witnesses, and this was in the 70s, like in 1975 when she started studying with them. So when she got married with my dad, there was a lady that would continue Bible study with her throughout, the 70s, and then they moved out of the Rio Grande Valley, moved northwest of Texas, and they found somebody else over there, and they lived in Pecos, Texas, and they would go from Pecos all the way to the town where we used to live. It was like a good hour or two drive, maybe even 2.5 hour drive. I don't even know. It was like a 2 hour drive from where they were from and where we used to live. So my parents continued studying with the Jehovah's Witnesses all that time, and I have nothing against them, honestly, because a couple of my relatives are still Jehovah's Witnesses, and I have a couple of friends that are Jehovah's Witnesses, so I cannot say anything bad about them, but I can say what my experience was with them. And sometimes people that are Jehovah's Witnesses don't really talk about their experience because they're kind of ashamed. To start with, I did not. This is just an improvisation of a video. I did not do any notes. I don't have notes, or I don't have anything with me that I actually planned this. It's just coming out spontaneously. So if I remember something later, I might, and if I forget something, that might happen as well. But I just want y'all to know that this is totally just my experience, and a couple of my relatives' experience as well in different ways. As I was telling you, as a Jehovah's Witness, I grew up. My father was a musician for many years, and he was, when I was born, he was still a musician, so he did not have any kind of he had not decided that he wanted to be a Jehovah's Witness in any way, because he was a musician, and that lifestyle has got to change if you're going to become a Jehovah's Witness. He smoked and stuff, and he liked the nightlife, so he was not ready to become a Jehovah's Witness at the time. And so it took years for that to happen, and when it happened, we were not very consistent at going to their meetings and all of that for a long time. But all of a sudden, by the time I was about, I want to say, we had to go to the meetings like 3 times out of the week. There was a meeting. It was a Sunday, and then either Tuesday or Thursday. Thursday was a meeting at the Kingdom Hall, and Tuesday was a meeting at home, a Bible study. And so usually somebody would come and give us a Bible study, a family Bible study, to my parents or whatever. And so we always had one day yes, one day off. We had one day from the whole week. It was one day on, one day off, and literally your whole life revolves around that schedule. It doesn't matter if you go to college, if you go to school, if you work, whatever. It doesn't matter. That's the schedule. Right now, it has changed a lot with quarantine and stuff. They're doing everything through Zoom and all that. And it's, I think, only on Sundays and Wednesdays here where I'm at. But, and the reason why I know is because my family, my parents, my grandmother, still Jehovah's Witnesses. But the part where it gets a little emotional for me is that when back in when my father got really committed to it, they got baptized into the Jehovah's Witness religion, and this happened when I was about 13 years old, when they got baptized, my mom and my dad. And then we had that schedule that I'm telling you about. One day we go to the meeting on Sunday, then on Tuesday we have the Bible study, then on Thursday we go to to another Bible study at the Kingdom Hall. And that's how it was. It didn't matter how tired we were and exhausted as high school kids, junior high kids. It didn't matter. You had to be there. And your parents, even if they were tired, they would be there because they feel like it's a commitment to be there. We would go. You have to be there and you have to be dressed appropriately. No, like what I'm wearing right now is not appropriate. This is too much cleavage right here. It has to be, your dresses have to be under the knee, you know. You cannot be wearing anything shorter than that. You cannot be wearing gym clothes, like to be walking around at the stores or anything like that. You cannot do that. There's a lot of rules. They do have a lot of rules, but right now, that's not even what I want to talk about. I want to talk about when I got a little bit older. Well, when I turned about 15 years old, this pressure started. And when you're a teenager, you want to make your parents and your family proud. And I feel like a lot of kids that are Jehovah's Witnesses feel this way too. They feel like they're being pressured. They feel the pressure from their elders, from the family members, from the other brothers and sisters from the congregation. And sometimes they make a decision about baptism out of pressure. And if they're not ready, sometimes I think parents think that if they get baptized, they might not want to do certain things, like have a worldly boyfriend, which a worldly boyfriend is a person that's not part of the organization, which means that you are dating somebody that's not from the organization, which the organization is what they call themselves. And if you are dating someone outside of there, it's kind of like a no-no for them. Like they rather you date someone that's within. That way you have the same beliefs and you're not unequally yoked, right? Well, that's what happened to me. I ended up having a boyfriend that was not from there, because to be honest with you, I did not want a boyfriend from there. There was nobody, absolutely nobody, that ever caught my attention from there in any way. I'm actually glad I didn't marry anybody from there, because I'm so glad I just didn't. Some of my friends and relatives actually married people from within, and they were complete psychos and nuts. Like seriously, I don't know why in the world, when they're teenagers, they're in this religion, but when they decide that they're gonna come out, they really come out like, and it's something like suppressed. I don't know how to explain it. Like if they're suppressed and they turn completely 180 degrees, but then they'll end up right where they were. I'm talking about they make a turn to the, like if they were so wearing like tie and a suit all the time and real quiet, and all of a sudden these guys, once they don't go, all of a sudden they turn they get out of there. They have like purple hair, which I'm not judging. They'll end up with purple hair. They'll end up with doing drugs. They'll end up doing witchcraft. I mean, so many crazy things that I have seen, and I don't understand why so much of that has happened. But let me just tell you that I ended up being a Jehovah's Witness with a boyfriend that was not a part of the organization. And I got disfellowshipped for it because literally I was having a lot of pressure at home, because I was having this boyfriend that was not part of the organization, and he was not worthy of me, and my family didn't need that kind of person in the family. And therefore I got disfellowshipped because I eloped. Well, I kind of eloped. And so they consider when you elope that you are actually that you are actually committing fornication. Because when you're not married and you have sex, that's called fornication, and it's a sin. Also, if you are married and you are having sex with somebody else, that's called adultery. So whichever of those two, you get disfellowshipped. So I got disfellowshipped for that because I was 17 years old and I eloped with my boyfriend. I did lie a little bit. I told them because they were literally, they make a committee meeting and they had me go in there with all these people, and they were actually my friends, and then they would actually kind of like judge you. they judge you, and that's how that started. And so then they kind of do like a little judgment type of deal, and then that's where they decide whether they disfellowship you, or they just censor you. Like, censor you means that you can't be around everybody, but you can still go to the meetings and stuff, but you cannot be hanging out with them or something like that. And when they disfellowship you, you're completely cut off. Like, they cannot shake your hand, they cannot talk to you, you cannot eat with them. You're not worthy of, God. You are dead in God's eyes. And so that's what I was told, that I was dead in God's eyes, as far as my dad would tell me. And that was so hurtful, because since I was a little girl, I had my own relationship with God. Maybe not the one they wanted me to have, but I know that I had one. And so when they just did that, it was like they cut me off so bad. They broke my spirit, and it affected me in so many ways, because I could not believe that the place where I had been raised, all of a sudden everybody just turned. My whole family, my wedding, none of my family was in my wedding. I was not even allowed to invite anybody, because I didn't even have time. I was so young, I didn't think about even inviting family members that were not a part of the organization, because I was so closed into the organization. I knew no better. I didn't know I could invite my friends that were not Jehovah's Witnesses anymore, because that's how brainwashed I was. And we were taught that we weren't the same as everybody else. You're different, so you need to act different. You cannot be dressing like that, because you are different. You cannot talk like them, because you're different. And everything was about, you are different. They're from the world. And I would think, like, why do they say the world live there? They're from the world. We all live here in the world, right? Well, they would say, that there are certain things that the worldly people do, like do drugs and smoke and drink and have sex with their boyfriends before getting married, and they dress a certain way, they talk a certain way, you listen to certain music, and blah blah. And that's where the worldly people and us had to draw the line. So anyways, as time passed, I kept getting depressed. I was so depressed. I was 17 when this happened, and I was so depressed. My dad was the most harsh one, and my mom would help me so much. She would like literally give me my clothes and send it to me. She would hide it for me in her trunk of her car, and I would go pick it up, and she would give me money because I had no money. And it was just tough. My dad, he really just didn't want to talk to me. But then all of a sudden, like he slowly started talking to me when I started, when I got pregnant and I had the first grandchild. He started coming along, but I was still disfellowshipped. They were still not fully able to hang out with me. Even though they're your parents, you can't hang out with them, you cannot eat with them, you cannot commingle with your own family. And it was the hardest thing, and I didn't take it as bad as at that time. It was a few years ago. It took me 20 some years for me to get reestablished into the organization, and I only did it so I could have a relationship with my family. Why? Because I lost my relationship with my family because of a mistake that they made many years ago. The mistake they made was because in California, I'm sorry, yeah, like I don't know if y'all remember, but back then they would give you the birth certificate with the little feet on them, and that's the birth certificate that I had. And in order to get married, the courthouse had to have the actual birth certificate, which it looks like a card title or something like that. It's that one, not the one with the little feet. They don't take those no more. So we got that one. We went to get married, and they didn't let me get married because of that. So then that took 3 months almost to get to the house. That's why they disfellowshipped me, because that took forever and I didn't want to go back home. There was a lot of peer pressure at home. And there was also a plan to send me to California with my uncle and my aunt. I don't know for what. And they were planning on sending me over there too. They planned to homeschool me and just do so many things, right? Just to keep me away from the world and from the boyfriend. And anyways, so I decided to we did get married, but I got disfellowshipped, and it took me 22 years to get 21 or 22 years to get reestablished and be able to have a relationship with my family. It was so sad because sometimes I would invite my parents to go out to eat with me, and my dad would say, well, let's go somewhere where nobody sees us. And I was like, it was horrible. It was like, how do you do that? Like, how can you go somewhere to eat, literally hiding from other people, with your own kid, with your own daughter? Like, why would you hide from society? Why do you let people program you that way, to think that you can't be seen with your daughter because she's disfellowshipped? That's your blood. I would just tell you one thing. I don't know if you guys have gone through this stuff. It's sad. It's really sad. You know, there's been people that have gotten disfellowshipped and they've committed suicide because it's not fair. It's not fair that the whole family's so blinded like this, that they let people program them like that. It took me so long to get unprogrammed from them. It was so hard. It was so hard to understand that things weren't the way. You know, they do have a lot of things that are correct. Like, for example, like the holidays, I am totally in accordance with that. I believe that they're all pagan beliefs, and if you go and look, that is true. But aside from a lot of those things, everything else is it's just bull. Like, they're not perfect, but they want to be perfect, and it's not okay. It's not okay to raise your kids that way. I have cousins. I don't want to judge them, but I have cousins that won't even talk to us. They don't even know we're cousins, and we're like cousins. Like, we can't even talk to them because they feel like, oh my gosh, like, she doesn't go to the meetings, and like, they go to the meetings, so we don't even know them. Like, we would love to have a relationship with them, but we don't even know them. I have cousins that they don't even know each other. Literally, they don't hang out with each other, and they're blood. And I've never been one of those people that ever judges kids, other people's kids, because I know I have my own, and I wouldn't want my kids to be judgmental like that. But I do want to say that being a Jehovah's Witness is very hard if you get disfellowshipped, if the rules can be a little harsh. And I don't get me going, because I could do a whole nother video about that. And honestly, some of the people that are actually there should actually be disfellowshipped, and they're not. They disfellowship the wrong people. I found out that there's a lot of pedophilia. There's a lot of pedophiles there, and they're still okay with them there. And there's if they don't have the two witness, they have the two witness rule, where there has to be, if you report an abuse, that there has to be another person there in order for it to be there has to be a witness to what happened. Like, do you think that a pedophile is gonna be waiting for somebody else to be watching that he's doing whatever he's doing? Like, come on, like, common sense. Like, why would you even let that even happen? And so I'm not okay with my family being a Jehovah's Witness sometimes. I understand that they want the best, and I understand that they're trying to be great human beings, and I know they are already great human beings. But when they let some religion run their life like that, you're never gonna open your eyes, and it's just crazy. I just wish that they understand that that's not it, that's not the way. I could go on, and I understand that some people smoke, they do drugs and all that, and those people, they will disfellowship them. Also, like me, that I'm speaking up like this, and any other people that speak up and do videos like this exposing some of the things that happen, they are automatically treated as apostates, which is not true, because that apostate is a person that's talking about against God, or not an atheist, but an apostate. An apostate talks against the Jehovah's Witnesses, and that's what they call you when you speak up. If you they don't let them look up videos about the Jehovah's Witnesses, because they don't want them to open their eyes and see what the organization's doing, and all the lies that people have actually, all the things that they have been fed, and why the real truth about that organization, they don't let them look into it. Because if they do, and they doubt, the doubt comes into their heart, and they go and they speak up about it, they're gonna get disfellowshipped for sure, or they're gonna get disfellowshipped. That's for sure, because they're actually doubting, and so you have no way out of there. But I'm just, you guys are very courageous, the ones that have left the Jehovah's Witness organization. And if you are expelled right now, disfellowshipped, I'm sorry. I know what you're going through. It's horrible. If a person hasn't gone through it, they don't know what it feels like. And it has costed many people's lives. And if you want to DM me, if you want to send me your messages, I mean, if you need more videos about this, I can go ahead and do some more. But just please don't fall. Don't feel like, you know, you have no way out. Don't go off and do something crazy just because these people are nuts, because they're the nuts ones. You're not nuts. They need to open up their eyes and see what's really going on. And and I feel really bad because they can't. It's like they really can't. And it costs some people's lives. It's cost many people's lives. And I know that there's been a lot of lawsuits because of the disfellowshipping and suicides and pedophilia and what else? There's been a lot of lawsuits. I just know that much. And they deserve them. And our family, and most of them probably think that it's because that they're telling them that they're not publishing any more books because of other reasons, more than that they're being sued so much that they, you know, that that organization actually is, they're very millionaires, billionaires. They are. And these people think that they make them believe that they don't have money. And so, well, continue being that way. Continue listening to what they're saying, but they're lies. They need to do their, if you're a Jehovah's Witness right now, you're watching this video, please open your eyes. Please don't follow everything you're hearing. And start researching. Research their finances, research everything. Research all their books that they've taken off the market, off of they've had to literally get rid of a bunch of books because of the stuff they've had in it. Please open your eyes, guys. There's a lot of stuff in there you don't even want on you. Like, those are actual, the things you don't know are the worst ones, because you're not allowed to find out. You're not allowed to do your research. So if you are still just following like a sheep, going with the flow, you're gonna go to get destroyed with them. You guys talk about destruction a lot, but you're gonna go and end up somewhere destroyed because you're actually following stuff that you shouldn't be following. Parts are truths and parts are lies. I just want to ask you, you know, for you to be real with yourself. Most of you are not happy there. You feel like you're there, but you don't want to be there because it's consuming your time, or because you've left a lot of your family members because of the religion. Believe me, I've talked to a lot of people that have told me that. You know that my brother used to be a Jehovah's Witness, and he just got away from all of us. As soon as he became a Jehovah's Witness, he just got away from us. He doesn't hang out with us no more, and he doesn't want to commingle with us anymore. He just feels he's different, and that's not fair, guys. Like, family is family, thick and thin, thick and thin. And I also want to praise the Jehovah's Witnesses that do understand that family's family, and they continue being that family spirit that are always there for their families, even though with their Jehovah's Witnesses, that they don't neglect their families because they're not Jehovah's Witnesses. Thank you for being courageous and seeing the difference and seeking out lies and truths. And I will leave you with this. You are very special. If you're watching this video, you are very special. Don't let anyone tell you you're not. And never believe when somebody tells you that God just left you, okay, because of whatever your decision was. Okay? Prayers.